Welcome to Imagine Wealth Without Risk, the podcast that guides you to fulfilling your dreams through guaranteed, secure investing. Here's your host, Ted Thomas.
Hi, everyone. This is Ted Thomas, and this is the podcast, Imagine Wealth Without Risk. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about making money as always, and as we're trying to build wealth with this podcast. And so I have a guest today that is going to help you do that. Now, my guest is Carl Fischer. Now, in the winter months, he's from Florida. In the summer months, he's from Pennsylvania. So he moves back and forth, but he's an expert on IRA, that's individual retirement programs. So now what I'm going to ask you, Carl, before we start out, could you tell people just a little bit of your background and how long you've been doing this? I always think you've been doing it about 20 or 30 years, but why don't you fill me in and tell people a little bit about your company, and then let's get into the nitty-gritties of talking about these IRAs, okay?
Sure. I started self-directed IRAs and started learning about them in 1993 after my dad died. Prior to that, I was launching rockets at Kennedy Space Center for about 18 years. And then when my father died, I learned about these. I said I can make better money not working and protect it as well from an asset protection standpoint. And I left launching rockets, started doing some investing and learning about self-directed IRAs. And then in 2003, they asked me to start a company with it. And my sister and I started Camaplan in 2003, and we've been going strong ever since. And I think it's one of the best wealth building tools in the world that I've used. And I just get to disregard taxes in a lot of my investments. So it's saving tens of thousands
Everybody
of
wants
dollars.
to do that. Yeah, everybody wants to avoid taxes, that's for sure. Listen,
Right.
So you're building wealth not only for yourself, but you build it for a lot of other people. So why don't we start out the listener to the podcast? Some of the people are already investors and they need to do this. Some of them are brand new people. But why don't we do a quick review of what is an individual retirement account and which ones you recommend? I know there's different types, but I don't want to steal your thunder, but you're the expert. So could you tell us a little bit about the basics and then go from there?
Sure. Basically, the IRS gives you tax breaks for saving for your retirement. They also give you tax breaks for saving on your health plans and also for education. So they've built these into the system, and those people that get to use them get to have tax breaks as a result of it. So they have what's called a traditional IRA, where you put money into your retirement account and you get a tax break that year and you don't pay as much taxes. And everything that traditional account earns is also tax deferred. So I always say I'm making interest on my taxes where other people are paying taxes on their interest. So just by opening one of these accounts, you get away from the paying the taxes on it. Now, the Roth IRA, which I'm a real believer in, and I like that better than the traditional IRAs, is because you don't get a tax break in the beginning when you put the money in there, but everything you earn going forward becomes tax-free, as well as that money that you put in there. So I like when I take that out of the Roth IRA, I'm going to be able to keep every bit of it. When I take the money out of the traditional account, I'm going to have to pay taxes at my tax rate when I retire or when I turn 59 and a half or 70 and a half, wherever I decide to take it out. So I call that, do I want to tax the seeds or do I want to tax the crops? And I want to tax the seeds and let my earnings grow. So that's the traditional and the Roth IRA. Now, the best thing out there are the health savings accounts, which you get a deduction for when you put it in right now. And then when you take it out for medical reasons, it comes out tax-free. So that's the best of both worlds. And educational savings accounts are just like Roth accounts, except they're used for kids' education. And there's all of these plans, the 401ks, et cetera. All these are tax-deferred or tax-free accounts that businesses and individuals can use. And in my opinion, people say, which one should I have? And I say as many as you can.
That was a good answer. As many as you can. Okay, great. Now, what about, let me put you on the hot seat there a little bit. Is this complicated? Is it hard to do?
No, almost everybody can do IRAs or 401ks. A lot of companies have them. All the banks and brokerages have them. My company actually does self-directed IRAs, which opening up the account is the same as opening it up at a bank or any other brokerage house. No, it's not hard to open them up, but the self-directed ones do take more work because you don't have a broker there telling you to buy this stock or this mutual fund or this index fund. You go out and find things like tax liens or tax deeds or real estate or notes or mortgages or precious metals. You find exactly what you want to buy, and you're the decider and in control of what you purchase.
Oh, that's much better. If you made the money, you've got a big incentive to keep it. So that's nice.
Well,
you don't have to pay brokers commissions and stuff like that.
No, you don't. And the other thing is you're also investing in things that you know and understand, and you have some sort of control, and you get to pick your investments versus sitting off to the side and going with somebody else's research that they basically sell to everybody anyway. And we saw how well that worked in 2008.
Yeah. And a few times since then, too, for a lot of us. Now, I noticed when we're taking people at tax auctions where they buy these tax defaulted properties and at the tax lien auctions now, they that's one of the questions they ask. This has become pretty commonplace. They ask, what entity do you want to put it in? So could you have more than one IRA, or could you have different kinds of IRAs, or is it just one? You just have either a Roth or
you can have as many IRAs as you want. You can mix them up from traditional to Roth. You can have a couple of Roths, a couple of traditionals, whatever you want. In some cases, some people in the tax lien and tax deed world will do them in one IRA. Others will form what they call a checkbook LLC and do it that way as well. So there's a multitude of ways you can buy tax deeds and tax liens in your IRAs.
Okay. Now, if you do one of these Roth IRAs and you buy a property, could you explain that again? If I bought a property, because they're going to ask this question when these clients come to the auctions and so on. If I buy that property for, let's say $25,000, and then later on I sell it for $50,000, could you explain the difference between those two on if it was on a regular IRA and it was in a Roth IRA? I know you said that, but I just want to be nice and clear about it for people listening. They're all driving cars while we're doing this.
Sure. Let's say you have an IRA and your IRA buys this tax deed, like you said, for $25,000. The tax deed goes in the name of the IRA. It'll say Camaplan for the benefit of Ted Thomas's IRA. We'll send out the $25,000. The deed will get written in that name. Now, down the road, you sell it for $50,000. The contract will say somebody buying its name, and Cama, for the benefit of Ted Thomas's IRA, is selling it, and you sell it for $50,000. That $50,000 goes back into your IRA account. Okay, and that's in both the Roth and the traditional. However, in the Roth account, when you go to take that money out, but let's say 59 and a half, you're going to be able to take $50,000 out and pay no tax on it. When you go to take out the money in your traditional IRA and you take the $50,000, you'll be paying your tax rate at that point in time. And some people say, when I get older, I won't be working and I'll be in a lower tax bracket. And if that's the case, have the traditional IRA. I personally think tax rates are going to go up in the future. So I'm trying to get everything in my Roth IRA, but I'm also turning 65 here next month.
Oh, you're getting old. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, not as old as you.
I was waiting for that. Okay, I was waiting. Okay, it sounds to me like you're doing the work. If I buy this thing, I call you and I've got an account with you. I just tell you what to do. I guess just send you a letter or something. Say, all right, I want to have money to buy at the Dallas auction. So you then make it out to the appropriate person and send the check to me. Is that how that works?
Yep, or we wire it. It depends on where you are. We send checks, or we send wires, we send ACHs, whatever you direct us to. But you're going to have to be the one that bids the prices and says what it is.
Right.
But once that's done and it's in, when you open up the account, you put Camaplan for the benefit of your IRA as the bidder, and send that to us and tell us, hey, here's the money we need for it, and then I'm going to need the money. And I don't know, depending on what state and place that you buy it, you may need the money within 24 hours or 7 days or 30 days or something.
Yeah.
And we accommodate that generally.
I got it. Okay. And then, so then I don't have to worry about audits and stuff like that, because you guys will already have records, so we can just use those records, right? Is that how you do that?
Yeah. If somebody ever looks at it, you go and you say, here's what it is. You show them your statement. You said, hey, here's where we bought the property. Here's where we sold it. It's no different than buying a stock and having it go up. If you bought Facebook stock or Google stock back in the day, or any of the .coms, that money would go up. And if it was in your IRA in the stock market, you're not really getting audited. They're going to look at what you bought it for and what you sold it for. And if all those things match, then you're clean. It's pretty simple.
Okay. All right. Now, I've had a couple of clients run into this challenge, and now that I've got an expert on the phone, I'll get the really true answer. I've had clients go to a local bank and they say, I want to have a self-directed IRA. And so they put, let's say, 50 or 100,000 in the bank, and then they want to go buy tax lien or something like that. And the bank said, no, you can't do that. You just have to put money in the bank. And I said, wait a minute, I want to self-direct this myself. He said, you can. You just self-direct it here at the bank. And of course, that's a sticky patch for them, because by the time this argument's finished, the auction's over. You got the picture, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I hear this all the time. And what I say to them is, you got to make sure you have a truly self-directed IRA account. You got to go with Camaplan. The banks and the brokerage houses have coined that phrase. But yeah, you can have a self-directed account. And what they are basically saying is, you can buy anything we sell. Okay.
Yeah. So they sell you a savings account at 1%.
CD at 1 or 2%, or some index fund or something like that. That they don't ever do these things unless you've got over $50 million primarily, and then you have to find the right people to talk to. But a lot of people get suckered into that because it costs $50 for us to open up an account, and these people say you can have a self-directed account for nothing. But then when you go and try to use it to do this, it doesn't happen, and you come over and switch to us anyway. But no, a lot of people get suckered into those deals. So just remember, you want a truly self-directed account. Camaplan doesn't sell any real estate, any tax liens or deeds. We just do the reporting so that you can buy these from wherever you are, which makes it totally transparent. You have to do your own due diligence, figuring out the deal, but it's totally up to you to buy it or sell it. And all we do is the bookkeeping for it, so you can get it tax-free or tax-deferred depending on your.
So you're like a trustee or a custodian or something like that? What do you call them?
Custodians, administrators, trustees are the same words used here for all of these types of accounts.
Okay.
But you need to either be a bank or authorized by the IRS to process IRAs, 401 HSAs. And we have that agreement.
Okay. All right. So let me repeat for the listeners. My understanding, you'll, of course, correct me if I say it wrong. So my understanding is they hire a company like Camaplan. And what you do is you're going to be the keeper of the money. And then you're going to help them with whatever paperwork they need to form a true self-directed, where they can say, I think I want to buy some gold right now. Or could they buy Bitcoins?
They can buy Bitcoin, but we're not doing them because right now I'm not taking the liability to keeping codes and not keep the codes. So we've opted not to do Bitcoin. But if they want to create an LLC and do that with their IRA, we can show them how. But I can't hold everybody's Bitcoin and keep it separate.
Yeah, of course, that's too difficult. But I was joking when I said it anyway. But seriously, they can buy tax liens, they can buy tax deeds, they can buy real estate. So they could buy almost anything that they could buy outside of an IRA, then, as long as, I guess, not alcohol or paintings or something, huh?
Yeah, alcohol, collectibles, and life insurance are pretty much what you cannot buy.
Okay, all right, I got it. Okay, good.
Everything you can. Notes and mortgages, real estate, as you said, all of those things you can buy.
Okay, and so they need someone like you to be their, I'm just going to call custodian or trustee, whatever you want to call yourself. So that's what they need you for. Okay,
Yep.
And how long does can they call you on the phone and set up an account?
They can, but the easiest way is to go to Camaplan, capital CAMAPLAN.com, and click in the upper right-hand area of the web page and open an account right online.
You have to do that a couple of times. Most people on a podcast are just driving in the car or something like that.
I got you. So CAMAPLAN.com.
Okay, good. All right, so they can do that. Okay, anybody can do it. Can they start? Do they have to have a certain amount in their account or anything like that?
We try to get people to have $4,000 or more in their account because that just gives them enough to do some deals and make it worthwhile. We have had some people that are pretty savvy and can find different deals at less than that. But if you're worried about having, so 4,000 is the minimum we ask for at this point.
Okay, all right. And what else would you like to tell people?
What I'd like to just tell them is one of the things is we can set up the account in 24 to 48 hours, but some of the time in funding it, if you're going to transfer money from another account over to this, which you can do all or part of another IRA or an old 401k, that may take 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the situation and where it is. And it's as easy as opening up a bank account. I think everybody should have one when they're there. And the other thing I want to say is one of these accounts give you the control. You get to use your knowledge and expertise to pick the investments. These accounts are great for building and protecting wealth because a lot of them have asset protection built into them from the government. They've been around since the late 1970s, which a lot of people don't understand, but people like Mitt Romney and the very wealthy have been using them since then. I found that out when Mitt Romney ran for president. You could check out his IRA and it had $100 million in it. So it's one of those things, and you can open up these accounts and do the transfers without any taxes or any penalties going there. And the other thing I want to tell people is when they're using the IRA or the pension plan to buy tax liens or tax deeds, they save on the taxes. Either way, it's either deferred or tax-free, and you get to keep using this money. You get to diversify your portfolio with the tax liens and the tax deeds, even if you keep some of your stocks and bonds if you're good in that area. And generally, you're getting better returns because today we're in a yield-starved environment, right? Like you said, these are 2%, right? Stocks are on the roller coaster. Nobody knows what's happening with them with the different eco and political, economical environment that we're in today. That's where I think we are with it.
So let me ask you a couple of more questions there, because you brought some things up there that got me to thinking about some of the clients that had challenges. And one of the challenges for people, and I get it as a question, you probably get it a lot more, so you can probably advise people, is they've done a lot of things. I notice people start and stop stuff. They start with the one IRA, and then now they don't like that, but then they do enough. They do it for a few years, and then they meet another guy, and he says, "Oh no, you have to have a Roth IRA." So then they get the Roth IRA going, and then we do a little research. We come to find out they've been in a pension plan or a 401k plan with somebody else. Is there someone they can talk to about? I don't know how to consolidate all that kind of stuff. How do you do that? Or is there an answer to that?
I mean, if they call into our office, our toll-free number is 866-559-4430, 866-559-4430. And we can talk to them on the phone, or they can set up a consultation with us, and we can tell them how they can put together all of their IRAs and 401ks, et cetera. And we can do that with them in one situation. But it also depends. Some people say, can I put mine, my wife's, and my kids' IRAs all in one? The answer is no, because each one is an individual IRA. But it can help them consolidate from around the world there. And people can toe dip and see if it's exactly like we say. And if they open up the account and they don't like it, we'll give them their $50 back and any money they transferred in there back in the first 7 days. Basically guarantee it, and they can get out of it after that for a $150 processing fee if it isn't like we said it was. And then the other thing that people want more information, go to camaplan.com, CAMAPLAN.com. You can check IRS publications 560 and 590. There's a lot of books on the subject. You can Google self-directed IRA. You can Google self-directed IRA with the different magazines and periodicals and online newspapers, and there's almost always an article on it there. So it's really picked up since I got in the business, not only because of me, but it's really picked up on popularity, and there's more and more people doing it, generally because of its transparency and freedom.
I think things are finally catching on. I think it's good for everybody. I don't know any negatives. The only negative is you have to do your homework, and what the hell, if you'll keep records and they do a little bit of homework, I think they're okay. It's not more complicated than that. I didn't think it was.
As long as you know what you're investing in, or you have some people that are on your side that you trust, and they know what you want to invest in. Some people buy the house on their street. Some people buy a building downtown. Some people buy tax liens in Texas, tax deeds in New York. So it doesn't, it really doesn't matter. It's what you're good at and what you feel comfortable with. And that's the big win from everybody.
Right. Carl, you've just done a tremendous job. I want to thank you. And you've been doing this a long time. And I know you've handled many clients that I've met through you, and everything has always worked perfectly. I not only recommend you, but I recommend, if nothing else, I don't care who they get one with, they got to get an IRA and of some kind if they still qualify. I don't know what they're going to do about that. What's the age 70 now? You have to start taking it out. Isn't that somewhere around there what you have to do?
Yeah, but they're actually trying to increase that to 72. But guess what? In the Roth IRA, you don't have to take it out. You can keep contributing to it.
Oh, that's good.
Until you're 105. So that's another reason I like the Roth IRA. Yeah. I'm biased towards real estate, tax liens, tax deeds, and tax-free accounts. And I can't help it. And I just tell everybody there's other people with other opinions out there, but I want to take that variable out of the equation.
Yeah, and you want to do stuff that's not so risky. I got it. I'm 100% with you. Thank you again. You just did a tremendous job, and say hello to those sons of yours and tell them I hope they're doing good in their pig hunting.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, this is Linda. Don't forget you can listen to more episodes at tedthomaspodcast.com. You can also listen to Imagine Wealth Without Risk on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Spotify.